Welcome to TVOSJ, and here I'm going to start recording. Here we go. Welcome everyone to TVOSJ.org, the voice of San Joaquin, right here off the Miracle Mile. It is now time for the Chase Car Guys. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Miss Betty, for throwing that big introduction to us.
You're very welcome.
Another night here at the local radio station right off the Miracle Mile here in lovely downtown Stockton. I call it downtown. It's close enough for us. Anyhow, we have a great show tonight for you folks, and we're really looking forward to this special guest. We got her committed to come in, and thank goodness she showed up. Otherwise, we would have had nobody. But thank you so much, Gab, for coming in. We're going to talk about partnerships. The Chase Chevrolet does a lot of partnerships with people here in town, local people. I'm wearing my Lions vest. My co-host, Roy Morales, is also wearing his Lions vest. And Gabby is also a Lion. And without any further ado, I'm going to throw it over to you, Mr. Roy. Take it from here.
Well, the actual topic for today is partners in community. Just to let you know, Rick.
Thank you so much for,
So anyway, Chase Chevrolet. This is actually our 10th episode. Did you know that?
It seems like
number 10. Chase Car Guys show. So thanks for tuning in today. But our topic, partners in community. Chase Chevrolet works with many organizations throughout our community. And one that's really near and dear to the three of us is the Stockton Host Lions Club and Lions International. We actually have at our dealership at Chase Chevrolet, we actually have 3 Lions members, local members of local Lions clubs. And that's Paul Correa. Shout out to Paul Correa. He is our fleet sales manager, and he is a member with the Lockford Lions.
Clements Lockford.
Clements
Lockford, yeah.
Clements Lockford is the actual name of the club. And you know what? A great heart for service. He's always involved with everything that goes on with Lions. So, you know, he's one of the Lions there at Chase Chevrolet. And then, of course, my co-host, Rick Pelaski, who has been a member of the Stockton Host Lions Club
since 1990. I happen to put this vest on, which I don't wear very often. I should wear it more than I do. Looked at some of the pins, and they go back to 1990. So I would imagine I was the tail twister
29
in
years
1990.
Wow.
Tail twister. Now I don't have a tail. So.
Wow. I bet you, just knowing what the tail twister does, I bet you were the best tail twister ever.
We've got money, and we had a lot of tightwads in those days. DeMartini.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah, that'll be another day. But anyhow, thank you for saying that, Roy.
And then myself, I'm a member of the Stockton Host Lions Club as well, and I've been a member for about I think 5 or 6 years. And it's been just an absolutely awesome journey. And what's really cool is that you get to meet other members in the community, and you really get to know your immediate Lions Club family really, really well, you know, as you grow together and serve together. And today's guest is really a special one, and that's Gabrielle Young. She is a member of the Stockton Host Lions Club. And she's also stepped up into some big shoes because this year she is serving as the second vice district governor of the District 4A1 Lions Club. And the District 4A Lions Club encompasses 55 clubs. There's 55 clubs involved in our district, and Gabriella is involved with time out.
Could we let?
Well, we're going to introduce her. We're going to introduce her.
All her.
So anyway,
we brought a guest on
with no further ado, Gabriella, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Do you prefer Gabriella or Gabby?
It doesn't matter to me. Hey, you works.
Oh, you can.
It really doesn't matter. My mom says
it.
Gabrielle or Gabi. So
Gabi, okay.
So,
Gabi.
so
I
would
like
say
that.
That would
I
be
like
the.
that.
I would
You
think that my
remember it.
mom
I
knows
like
how to
that.
say it
Yeah, I'll write
correctly,
that
so.
down, Gabi. Gabi, tell us because everyone has an interesting story about how they got involved with Lions. Tell me your story of how you came to our club and becoming a member and being a member for quite some time.
Okay, my dad, Pete Young, was a member since the early 70s.
Yes,
so,
And yeah, we both knew Pete. Yes.
and I used to hang out at the Lions Club meetings because that way I got a free lunch. My dad paid for it. And after about 2 years of doing this, some guy in the club decided that they were going to fill out an application. And that was Blair, who's not here.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
Blair,
Blair, thanks for showing
Yeah.
up.
and Blair just basically had it sitting there all filled out, and all I had to do was sign. So how could I say no?
Well, you
Beautiful.
should've- Now that you've been involved, you should, but anyhow, no, it was a good find for us to have you part of the
Thank
club.
you. I think
Yeah,
Blair
they
did
say
too.
if you hang out at the barber shop long enough, you'll get a
get bald?
haircut. You'll get a haircut. I forgot who said that. Somebody really important though. But anyway, so you were kind of grandfathered in. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know if your dad wanted you to.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
I
But back in
you know,
those days, Gab, we didn't have a lot of women. Maybe we
That's
did.
true.
No.
I remember Audrey Fry was one of the ones that I can recall off my ancient memory, but Audrey's still with us.
Agari.
Oh, okay.
I'm forgetting her name. Dan's wife is.
the husband,
Anyways,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, so
Daisy.
Daisy
right.
Agari.
100% correct.
Was in 1990. She was president in
yeah.
1990 when you joined, wasn't she?
No.
Oh,
Then I
very
go
close
back
to it.
The president.
Maybe that's
when
2000.
When I started was Snitch.
Okay.
What his real name is beyond me, but hopefully in a few minutes we'll
Call
come
my
to-
mother. No,
Yeah.
she knows everything.
All the Lions had a nickname. Well, yeah, and I'm sure that your dad is was proud that you decided to. I mean, they had the application filled
Yeah.
out for you,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that he was really proud that you. And that's not uncommon where you have a family member that belongs to the club and then
Right. We have a couple of them. I mean, Steve Richmond.
right,
Yeah.
Steve
his-
Richmond.
and,
That's right.
And Denise Sexton.
Denise's
Her
dad.
father was also.
Right, uh-huh.
Oh.
Well, not her father, it was her father-in-law, Harry
Okay.
Sexton.
Yes, Harry.
Oh, okay.
Harry
father-in-law.
You
Yeah.
knew Harry
Okay.
Sexton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sure did. I worked side by side with him for the omelet breakfasts when we had him downtown, and he made biscuits. I call them bricks, but he called them biscuits. But anyhow, that's
Were those omelets?
Are they called
No,
pancakes
we're-
now, though? Are they called pancakes now,
No,
those
they
biscuits?
weren't biscuits.
Oh,
was
he
the
actually
president.
made biscuits.
Listen, and they were so hard you could fill in for bricks. And he used to get very upset when I told him that. But anyhow, Harry, wherever you
I
are,
bet you it never
God
changed
loves
either.
you.
That's
Yeah.
what you got for your
Exactly.
$10. You got biscuits and an omelet. So
Exactly.
hopefully you only wanted an omelet.
Biscuits and an omelet. Anyway, what I wanted to do was ask you, and we can all chime in on this, because the audience, a lot of the audience members, don't really know a lot about the Lions clubs themselves. Give us a little bit, because we've been involved with some pretty big things since we're going to be approaching our 100-year anniversary, which we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been involved with some big projects here since the club formed in 1920.
You know that a lot of our founding members also founded the Hagen Museum.
The Hagen Museum. We were actually involved with the founding of the Hagen
Yep.
Museum.
And that was told to me by Roostaller, who's brought it. He came to speak to the club once. We didn't know that. Pixie Woods was.
Angel Cruz and gosh, I can see his face.
Is it
Coming
Nelson?
back and,
Yeah,
and,
Hal Nelson.
Hal
That's it.
Nelson.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Roy. Thank you.
and Camp Pacifica, which we didn't actually. I don't believe anybody from our club actually was a founding member of that, but we have supported it since it was started.
But we had a local member that came up with the idea, though.
Of Camp Pacifica.
Yeah.
It was the Pacifica Lions Club. that
Yeah, there was
actually-
I guess a story on that. You can verify this, is that they had a club member in the Pacific Alliance Club that had a son that was deaf, and he came up with the idea, I guess, at a club meeting that he would like to, love to
Right,
take him
and-
camping.
And from what I understand, they ran the camp for 2 years as a club.
Oh, did
and
they?
took them up to, I believe, the 49er camp, which was the Boy Scout camp for a while.
at that
It's been
time.
sold since. And after a few years of doing that, they went to the District 4A1 and had it endorsed, and then they went and rented Skyline, which is now Camp Pacifica, where they held camp for a couple of years, and then they incorporated and it became Camp Pacifica, the California Lions camp.
So Camp Pacifica, tell us about Camp Pacifica. Tell us about, because I know that you're very involved with Camp Pacifica, and it's one of our district projects, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the audience a little bit about what Camp Pacifica offers, you know.
Camp Pacifica was formed to have deaf and hard of hearing camps for children, and it's free of charge to the kids. They have to be sponsored by a Lions Club, who pays the $360 campership for them. But they also used to have a blind camp. So 20 years ago, we had 2 deaf camps and 1 blind camp. Over the years, it's kind of dwindled down to 1 deaf camp. And this year, we're actually going to go back to having 2. We've got a new director of the camp. She actually works with the hearing impaired in Merced and Madera down in there. And she has tons of kids to choose from. And she thinks she's going to get us 2 weeks of 100 different kids.
Wow.
Fantastic.
It would be
That's good.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And we're also exploring having a blind camp
Right, yeah.
and a diabetes camp that's supported.
Mm-hmm.
And then also,
Can I go? I'm a diabetic.
He is I'm a
And so are
diabetic
you.
too, so we're both.
are you under 18?
I wasn't
There
one
is an
time.
age limit, you know.
I wasn't.
And then also we've got, Camp Pacifica has the horses, so we're also looking into having an equine therapy, which would be for autistic children.
Right.
So.
And there's so much to do on the camp. I mean, they have the what is the activity that they climb up the?
We have a challenge course, which
Challenge
has
course.
not been certified for the last couple of years, but we did get them to come back in October, and they went through it. They gave us a list of what needs to be fixed, and as soon as we get it fixed, we're going to train people.
Right.
We're going to ask for volunteers. We're going to train you for free. We're going to pay for the training, and then you have to come back and operate the course a couple of times during the summer,
Right.
when their camps are in there, so we can make a little bit of money off of it. So.
Sure.
And
Well,
then
it has self-sustained what is of it, and I know the last several years has been a tough go because they need donations to keep
Right.
it running.
And
Right.
and as a treasurer, I know we did lose a little bit of money last year. We lost a little bit of money this year. We had some huge improvements made. WebCore volunteered.
tell us about that project and
Okay.
tell me the story of how this project came about.
Well, I'm going to say Jim Weaver, who is from, I believe, Madera Evening or Madera 500 or something. I have to go look that up. The club down in Madera, I believe, or
Merced 500 probably.
Merced.
Yeah.
He had a contact. The WebCore is the general contractor, I believe, with the Merced University. They're
Oh.
building the dorms at Merced University.
Okay.
At the UC Merced. And I guess WebCore wants to give back to the community, and somehow Jim Weaver got in contact with Lucky, who was our contact with WebCore, and they basically got a bunch of their contractors, including Collins Electric, who I found out actually went to school, one of their sons that went to school with Blair and I. Blair and I went to high school
Oh,
together.
I didn't know that.
And,
One of
so
Jean Genie's
Jeff-
son?
Yeah, Jeff
Sons?
Genie.
Jeff Genie went. Oh,
Was
how
in class
wonderful.
with-
They were a supporter of our Lions All-Star
Well,
football game.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Collins Electric went
Right.
down there with landscaping company and some other contractors that are working on the UC Merced dorms, and they did they said $137,000 worth of improvements, and I think that it costs a lot more to put in a street light than they're saying. But we have, I believe, 6 street lights. They redid the whole yard and one with brand new sod grass. They rebuilt an entire cabin. They took it from being just a summer cabin with screens to being winterized with an air conditioner and a heater, amongst other things. They just did a lot of work down there at camp for us. I think it's well over $150,000 worth of work.
Wow.
And it was well needed, huh?
Well needed. I mean, it's wonderful.
It was kind of interesting because I was talking to one of the Lions that was involved with, how this thing all came about, all this work. And he was telling me that there was a member, and it may have been one of the members that you were talking about from the clubs down south, that he had been speaking to about possibly making some improvements at the camp. And so he said that he had actually been talking to this guy for a while, and so he challenged him to go up to the camp and see the camp and look at the camp and look at the facility and all of that. And that was Francis Bagnuta that was pushing for this. And
hang in there just 1 second.
Lion Francis Bagnuta was the one.
Lion Francis Bagnuta from the Linden Lions.
Yes.
We wish him a quick recovery. He is in rehab right now. He has some medical issues. And
Right.
Francis, if you're listening, we all pray for you, buddy. So get better.
Yes, that's right, Francis. And so anyway, Francis was telling me the story, and it was really cool because he took his challenge up. And the one of the guys that was involved with the whole thing, I don't know what his name was, but anyway, he went up to the camp, checked out the camp, toured the camp. He said, okay, I'll put something together, and then all of a sudden, this thing all like really quickly.
Yep. Well, we've been talking about it for I think 2, 3, 4 years, and then finally this year, it just fell together really, really fast.
Right.
And they set a date, and they came up there with like 100 people.
Right.
And basically, they were there like 5 days. There was like somebody came by one day and just did a drone videotape of the whole campus.
Right.
And then they did. One guy came and did the lines where the power was the next day. But on Saturday, they came up with like I think about 80 to 100 volunteers, and they just went at it.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Everybody had their job, and everybody did their job.
So are we having a little celebration for them coming up?
We are.
Tell me about this little celebration to just show our gratitude to this company and the members that came up.
Okay, so on November 17th, up at camp, we are going to have our board meeting. The California Lions camp is going to have a board meeting at about noon, and then after that we have Merced Breakfast, I think, is going to be cooking us a late lunch, early dinner. And anybody who wants to is invited to come visit and tour the camp with us. And there will be some awards given out to some people there. Can I say that?
So if anybody wants
I hate to be the one
if
that
anybody
breaks
would
the
like
news early,
to see what this camp kind of looks like, they could go on our. Does the camp have a Facebook page?
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook. There's
Probably
a couple
not.
of them out there. We're trying to get
Yeah.
them under control, but we do have a
Website, huh?
and it's camppacifica.org.
Yeah, I encourage you to go on to camppacifica.org. There's a lot of information on the camp. It's truly a heartfelt project, and
Lots
it's
of
one
good pictures,
it's one
lots of
of
good pictures.
many. It's one of many. A lot of people don't know about it,
It's true.
but if you see the videos of what happens at that camp
Yep.
during those weeks when they have the deaf there,
And how or go experience it. It's just
Right.
amazing. The kids that are there, you'll learn sign language in 4 or 5 hours. You'll learn how to communicate with them.
If he's taking sign at St. Mary's, it'll be good.
Oh, he'd love it.
Oh,
He'd
yeah,
love it.
he would love
Great
that camp up
experience.
there.
And maybe he wants to volunteer for the week to be a
he can be a counselor. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Actually,
he and
he
some
could
of his
take a
friends
couple
want
of his
to.
hockey guys up there.
When is that
There's going to be 2 camps. They're the last 2 weeks of July.
last week? I don't know if he's in town or I have to look at the schedule, but that would be something.
Have them look into it, and even if they just go for one day,
Yeah.
they can go up and experience it. The kids, the camp's got a barn where there's usually about 10 to 15 horses up there during the summer. There's a swimming pool, archery, pellet gun. We've got the ropes course opening up this year. Arts and crafts. There's all kinds of things that they do up there with the
cool.
kids. It's a regular camp,
And,
but
and again, that's the Lions giving back to people. I mean,
that is us giving back.
I'm
Yes.
a Shriner also, and they have their hospitals, and
Right.
St. Jude has a hospital for children. But this is something that
Shriners and Lions have history.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
so I'm both.
There might be a reason. But I do believe that all the guys were,
Masons at one
yes,
time?
I believe that, I'd have to go back. But, okay, so like the foundation,
Right.
the end beneficiary, if Camp Pacific ever goes away, the end beneficiary is Shriners. So,
Oh, okay.
That's good to know. See,
And
I
somebody-
learned something tonight.
yeah. And you should look it up and clarify it next time.
Okay.
And then the clubs get an opportunity to go up and cook,
Yeah.
and participate
and it's
in
a
that
tradition.
week.
They fight over it.
Yeah.
There used to be 2 weeks, and it went down to 1 week. And
Yeah.
then this last year, we actually booked a camp the week before, which is when the counselors are usually there. So we had even less days at camp. So
Right.
there was some, everybody's entitled to their day of cooking. But this year, just for anybody who's watching, we're going to have 2 weeks, so you guys don't have to fight anymore.
What's really cool at this camp is everybody is signing. I mean, these kids are in an environment that they don't get a chance to be in on a regular basis because they are with. They're all together. They're all deaf. They all sign, and it's amazing to see them communicate. You know, it's
or
just,
better yet, watch them communicate with me because I don't know any sign language. I
Right.
can say water. That's it.
Yeah.
But I was there was an emergency last year, and I just happened to be up there, and somebody told me to go just sit in the nurse's station and wait, and that's what I did. And I was waiting, and some of the kids came in, and they were telling me that their teeth were loose and that they were going to come out, and I'm just like looking at them, but they got the message across.
Right.
You know that, and another little girl came in with something in her eye, and I'm like, okay, just put this tissue over it for a while. But they all, they can communicate with us.
Yes.
And they understand, and they know what we're
They
saying.
They probably read lips too, I would think. Maybe not, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know whose mother and father are both deaf?
Who's
And
that?
you know them.
Who's that?
Bob Watson and Bob Watson's mom and dad.
Really?
His dad has passed, but his mother's still alive, and she lives right. Can't think of the name, but it's right next to Dameron Hospital, right across the street. It's a rehab place.
Oh yeah.
She's 90.
She's at Lincoln Square.
She's
Lincoln Square.
in
that's
the same
where Francis
facility.
is.
That's where Francis was.
That's right. He's
Yeah,
there. You're 100%.
Yeah.
You're both 100%.
I went and
Two guys
visited
that
him.
were right
I
on
went and
the-
saw him. I told him I went and saw him when after he had.
You know?
Yeah, what a that was a big deal for Francis to be
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I
you know.
talked to his son Scott.
Yes.
Yesterday, I believe, and Scott told me he's biting at the bit to get out of there.
Okay, so
But
he is
he's
still in the
still there.
Okay.
Any of the Lions, you go by and see him, he'll be there. I don't know how much longer, but
Yeah.
he is starting to get ornery. And
Oh yeah.
that's
Starting
back-
to?
Oh well, he's
Well-
probably always been honoring.
He's in another facility.
But that's wonderful.
Now, I want to touch on something else that I was involved with way back when with the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a brief thing of how I got involved with it. And I'm almost thinking I was there before 90 because Vern Strombaum was the second president after Snitch came out of office.
Mm-hmm.
And anyhow, I was Cole Hackley, P. Cole Hackley,
D. Cole Hackley.
bought a car from us downtown. We're segueing back into his Chase car guys.
Right.
But so I met him. We sold him the car.
Right.
And I was doing finance at the time.
Uh-huh.
Anyhow, I'm still doing finance. Yeah, that's another story. So he came in, and I sold him a warranty. And he told me, he says, he didn't know me from Adam
Yeah.
at that point. And he said, "You're good."
That's okay.
And I, first time anybody told me I was good, and that's the last time.
He said that?
Yeah. He
Holy-
says, "Nobody's ever sold, I don't buy warranties. But you convinced me by what you were telling me to buy this warranty."
Right.
Anyhow, to make a long story short, he says, "I want you to come to lunch. I'm taking you as a guest to lunch." And at that time, they were meeting in the Stockton Hotel. Mm-hmm.
Oh
many
yeah,
years,
yeah.
which was
Stockton
a
Hotel. Yeah.
couple blocks from where Chase was.
Right.
So anyhow, I met him, and he signed me that same day. And another person that worked at Chase Chevrolet was Don DiMartini, and he was part of the Lions Club
Right.
back in those days. So anyhow, that's how I got involved with the Lions Club. But
Well, let me ask you, do you remember having Junior Miss Mississippi come visit?
I'm never going to talk
In
about
1991?
that. What stays in the Lions Club thing, I know, I don't.
Junior
remember.
Misses.
No, she never left the Lions. But we did a lot of stuff at the Blind Center.
Right.
In those days, we did a lot of stuff with the Blind Center. We did the breakfast omelets there. A crew of us, Don Duckworth and Don DiMartini and Harry Sexton and Snitch. I wish I could think of his. We call him Snitch. He worked for.
I should call my mom. Do you want me to call my mom?
Yeah. put on the blower. And we'll see what's happening. But he was the manager of a collection agency here in Stockton. So he knew everybody.
Yeah.
He was great guy. Anyhow, we used to do these omelet feeds.
Right.
And the same group, we do them every year. I think it was maybe twice a year. But anyhow, we did them at the Blind Center.
Mm-hmm.
It was nominal charge. It wasn't much. But whatever we received, we gave to the Blind Center to keep that operating.
Right.
But we had a lot of fun. anything that I've been involved with the Lions Club has always been a fun experience for me.
Yeah.
Because you're out in the community doing good things instead of bad. And I think it's a great organization. Obviously, I've been there whatever years it is. Seen a lot of people. Some of them aren't with us anymore, but great people. Dick Bridgeford, you remember Dick? The only guy that crashed the plane and walked away from it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, he's a real lion.
Ort Loftus, another
Ort Loftus, yes.
freeway, and we used to tease him constantly about when that freeway went through. It was dirty. There was a lot of dirt and stuff. I tell him, can't you even keep your freeway
Better
clean?
yet, don't you think you should have to pay the tickets that you get on it?
Yes, exactly. Hey, let's see if that can happen.
It doesn't. I tried.
But Ort's a good person. Paul Bunnell, who's no longer with us.
Right, Paul Bunnell, yes.
I was his first vice president when he was president.
Oh, you'd have been president the following year.
I did. But
Your opportunity? What happened?
I told him Roy Morales and no. What had happened is we had just moved out to our facility where we're at today.
Yeah.
And I was a sales manager. They promoted me to sales manager.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't commit to being away from the store.
Yeah.
Because it was a big deal for me
Yeah.
and my career. And so we had a big meeting of Paul, Ort.
Yeah.
Some of the other guys came out, and I just said, hey, if you got to pass me by, do it, because
So
I
you've
have
never
a
been president?
never.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
well,
thinking
we'll have
about
to,
it.
I'm thinking for the 100th. Wakalo.
Claire, you should have been here. But no.
All in
he
favor?
thought he had it in the bag.
I was there. One of these badges.
We got
It
your
was the
pin.
75th. I was there for the 75th.
Got the pin right here. See.
That's the 100th.
Well, okay.
I got the 75th. Roy, stay along with the story.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyhow, I was there for that doings.
Right.
It was very, very nice.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah.
This is the 7th.
Where was it held? Where was the 75th held?
Boy, that's a good question.
Do you remember?
I want to say it was at the Scottish Rite.
Okay, okay.
I believe that's where it was. And if I'm wrong, somebody call me and tell me.
Right.
But
So that would have been in the mid 90s.
yes, yes. And it was a big event.
How many do you think attended?
I'd say 200.
Do you remember who the featured speaker was?
It was Paul Bunnell. No, it wasn't. It was
International speaker.
I believe he was the president. I think he came out. I want to say that's what
One of the.
as my memory recalls.
Well, we would have been one of the first clubs to turn 75.
Yeah, right. we
Because I
were.
think we're going to be number 6 to turn 100.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and we were the first club in Stockton, and then everybody else came after us, and met some great people.
We were actually chartered by the Oakland Club, which was one of the founding charter members. So they
Wow.
went back to the original Oakland.
Which is not in existence any longer, right?
Well, I
Oh,
think
the
they've
Oakland Club?
merged. I think they've merged with
Did they?
Berkeley because Berkeley.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I'm not really quite sure because Berkeley was 100 before we were.
Mm-hmm.
Either
Oh,
that or
they were.
Yeah, or they yeah.
close,
it's-
huh?
So I'm thinking that might be what they did there. I can't believe that they'd give up
Do you
one
remember your
older than
dad
us.
talking? Because I know he was there during this time. But Nat Scatina,
Nat Scatina, yep.
Nat was a good paisan. We lost him. We've lost a lot of the guys from where I started.
Right.
But they were old.
And
then.
just
They were
so you
older
know,
Yes,
than
now
you.
I'm the old guy.
Oh, you still got some life left in you.
we got a lot of
Little
guys that
lion
are
left
older
in
than
you.
you. But Robert Scatina, I'm going to tell him that he has to watch this because his dad was mentioned.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right, yes.
absolutely,
No, yeah.
And that was just a wonderful, good human being. His mother was wonderful.
Dahlia.
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 Been to their house on,
Robin Hood.
well, it's off of Robin.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Banbury, I believe, is the
Yep.
name of the street. Not one blade of grass out of it. I mean, the guy was just immaculate.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about him. He
How
and
about
I-
Giacchini?
Oh,
You
John-
tell us the story about Giacchini.
John Giacchini. Great story. During the OJ trial, which was umpteen years ago, he was. If anybody knows Judge Giacchini, he was a man's man. I don't know that he could survive in today's softness because he told it like it was.
Yeah.
And he said Ito ought to take himself off the bench. He was the judge.
Oh, the judge.
He
Yeah,
says
Judge Ito.
anybody will allow a stupid camera in to watch watch a court. He can't do his job right. And his daughter was a lieutenant or something, I believe, with LAPD.
Yeah.
He was just beside himself. He said, "This is a circus. This isn't a court area. It's a circus." No, he was the head of our barbecue committee.
Yes.
For a long time.
And he was a local judge, right?
Local judge, sat right here in San Joaquin County Court, right here in Stockton, California.
Yes.
Yeah, he was, but another wonderful guy, just a great person, and I'm Baumgartner.
So my first experience with Stockton Host was in 1977.
Oh, really?
I actually spoke to probably at least 150 old men.
Really?
Hey,
Yeah.
watch that old man.
Was it at one of the meetings, or?
It was one of the meetings.
Oh.
I spoke on junior achievement, which
cool.
was something that I was involved in
Right.
as a freshman.
She was 12.
And I was like probably about 15. I don't know, 15,
Really?
I think.
Wow.
14, 15, yeah.
You
And
saw
I
those
sucked.
guys.
I sucked. But anyway.
Oh, well, you know what? That's how we learn to get good. Now you're on top of your game.
Oh, thank you.
And I would like to do this, if both of you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'd like to invite people out every Tuesday at noon.
Yes.
Bud's Seafood Grill out in Lincoln Center is where we meet.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out and just inquisitive about the Lions program, stop in. I believe they buy you lunch.
We'll buy
Yeah.
you lunch.
They'll buy-
Yep.
I
We'll
love
buy you
it.
lunch.
It'll
if
be the
you-
only
if you're-
time you get lunch, but the first lunch is always free.
No, but I think it would be good for you to get be a part of the club. It's always a trick in any club that I've been involved with is to get younger people in because it's the same group of 8, 10, maybe 12.
Right, but we should invite them to a service project. And I believe on the 25th of November that we're going to be helping with the food bank.
Oh,
Don't
yes.
know.
I
mean,
think
so
it
that
is
would
on
be one
25th,
that if
yes.
you come to join
That's
us
the
for
week
lunch
before
between now and then,
Thanksgiving.
it's the week of
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. It's
it's
Monday
on a
of
Monday
Thanksgiving.
right before
It is.
Thanksgiving.
It is a Monday.
And so
Yeah.
if anybody would want to help, they've kind of become kind of exclusive with who can come help because they get so many volunteers, and we
Yeah.
still get to volunteer. So come have lunch with us, and we'll sign you up to go in that day.
Oh, that's
Especially, you know what? Especially if you had, I mean, you know, everyone, but especially if you had a family member that served, you know, or was a Lion. To them, you know, it was really important to them for them to give back to the community. You know what I mean? And sometimes as we get a little bit older, you know, it starts to, you know, we start to get a little itch for that. And you had a family member that was a Lion or involved in volunteering, you know, that type of thing. Well, the Lions organization is a great organization to get involved with because there's just so many projects that are truly meaningful that we do.
We do a lot of them. Our crab feed, which is
Right.
for scholarships. That money goes to the scholarships. We give scholarships to students here, local students.
How many do we give out?
This year we gave, I believe, 4 $1,500 scholarships.
Yes.
Oh,
It's-
that's good. So they go to the local high schools, I believe.
They go
Yeah.
to local students at Delta College and Humphreys College right now. That's who we're supporting.
Okay.
And then our golf tournament, which with proceeds this year went to Pixie Woods.
No, went to
support
Central
Pixie Woods.
Valley for the.
Oh, I'm sorry,
went
you're
to
right.
Michelle Galvin.
Last
at
year
the-
went to Pixie Woods.
Yeah, last year went to
And
Pixie
this year
Woods.
went to the
Blind Center.
The Blind Center, that's correct.
So it's an organization that helps our media community and then the outreach community become a Lion. It's something I've done. I will be honest with you, I don't go to many meetings because of my work schedule. I try to go when I can, but it's a good group of people, very sincere, very family-oriented. It's a great organization for Stockton to get themselves behind and become part of. It's an inexpensive group. It's $100 a year for membership. I mean, it's not astronomical, and we just ask you to do your part. You don't have to do every event, but if you did 1 or 2 a year would be helpful.
Yeah, and just come join us. I mean, we are doing something almost every weekend.
Yeah.
It seems like
We could
we were
use
serving.
we could use some more workers.
We're always
Sometimes
more
we got
workers.
too much on our plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of another activity. The Asparagus Festival. That's one
Yeah.
that we still get to be very involved in.
Yeah.
We're still doing the logistics for all the heavy lifting for the back end of the Asparagus Festival, delivering ice and
Yeah.
making
And
sure everybody
Roy
has
takes the
their.
asparagus. No, that's another story.
No, we do get to eat some asparagus, though.
Yes, you do.
But it's like 5 to 6 days of really hard work and long hours. But with
But it's
donation,
fun. It's
donation
fun.
is given back
and
to
this year I get to
to
go
our
because
community.
it's after April 15th.
Oh, good. We'll make you in charge of that project.
No, thank you.
Hey, moving on. What I wanted to do, because this is really exciting.
Really?
Really exciting. Lion exciting. Tell us about, we're approaching our 100-year anniversary. Tell us about what we're preparing, what we're putting together for our 100-year anniversary next August 2020. It's in August 2020. It's in the planning stages right now.
So that would be 8/20/20?
That would be 8/20/20, yes.
I believe it's the 22nd.
And we have it
I
actually
go
on the
look.
22nd. So
On Saturday.
8/22/20. Got that? And
it's
so tell us a little bit. This is an
so-
exciting time for the Lions in
Today's
Stockton.
Wednesday still, right? So yesterday we finally decided that we're going to the country club,
We're going to Stockton Golf and Country Club.
and we're going to celebrate. Other than that, I mean, it's the 100th anniversary. We're going to have displays. We're hoping that we'll get with the Hagen Museum and show something of our 100 years there on display for a while. I'm not sure if anybody's followed up on that. But other than that, we're 100 years old, and we're going to be celebrating.
The coolest thing about this, I think, is that there is we just heard a little bit of history from Lion Rick. He's got more stories than that.
Oh, yeah, they
You
can
know
go
what I
on
mean?
for
They're going
days,
forever.
days.
But what we're talking about, and this is what's really cool about the Lions, is you have had 100 presidents serve 1-year terms
This is true.
since our inception in
And Rick, you're not
1920.
Not yet.
No.
Yep, we're on our
he's
99th one right now.
Yeah, we're going to put you as vice president.
All right. I got it right here. One of the pens says vice.
But, and that's why we want to let people know, because I know that all the nonprofits that we help, all the charitable organizations that we give back to, this is going to be a big deal. And it's going to be a big deal for them to be there to support us as well, because this is a big party. And normally, when you have a 100-year anniversary, it normally comes with a pretty darn good speaker from Lions International.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get
Well-respected
one. We're looking
speaker.
right now at maybe having Howard Hudson, who is the past international director from MD4,
Yes,
coming to talk to us.
right.
We are going to ask to see if maybe our vice president will come. Thank you. Our vice president, Lions International,
Right. Good. So we have a couple in the hopper.
who will be president the year that I'm governor, and that's Brian Sheehan.
Brian.
So he's
He'll be president the year, and you'll be district governor in 2021.
2021, yes.
2021.
Have to finish
This
off
will
this
be
year.
the first district governor that I've known.
Really?
I knew the other ones, but not like
Nat
I know
Scatino.
you. Yes, he was beyond that when he came
He was
to our
a-
club.
He was an international director.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who was that?
Nat Scatino.
Oh, Scatino was okay.
Yeah, great man, great
Yeah.
lion,
Right.
great lion, and he kept everybody kind of in line.
Right.
in those days.
Right.
We had some.
Yeah, that was a
we had
crazy
some
crowd.
Crazy crowd, and that.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, every meeting was like a war zone. It was fun. I mean, everybody was barbing.
Everybody was having a good time.
I don't know that we could do that anymore because of the South America. We just,
Well, you know what? We still have fun, but we also have to remember that we got a real diverse club.
Yes, we do now.
We have a very diverse club. It looks like our community. We have a lot of women in our club.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and Lion Michelle Galvin, from the executive director at the Community Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, is a member of our club, and that goes all the way. Our history with the Blind Center goes all the way back, I believe,
Back to
to
the
their
50s,
opening.
yeah.
I mean, when they opened their first office, I believe. So the Lions were involved with that.
We used to have, and we probably still do, but have the drop boxes at certain eye.
We still have them.
Yeah.
We have one at Midtown Optometry here in town. We've got it. And we're going to have it at Team Charter School. Yeah.
So if
And
you
we
have old
recycle.
glasses, we recycle. They go to. They were at the time when I was involved with that project. They go into third world countries where they don't have eyeglasses.
Right.
That's what they were doing at that point. So it's again, I can't speak highly enough of the club and the international part of it. We're worldwide, and Come be part of it.
You know, one of the coolest things is when you start at the club level as a member, right?
Right.
And, you know, it's like when I started, I didn't know nothing about all this, you know, but I knew one thing. Yeah, it's true. But I knew one thing. I liked what I was around.
Yeah.
It was like the
Giving
first
back.
time that I went to a meeting, I go, you know what? This is a little bit different. These people are volunteering their time to do good things in the community and make a difference in people's lives.
Right.
And once people kind of get that, you know, what happens is you begin to get involved and you begin to make an impact in your community, and you meet all these wonderful people in the community. I mean, she knows everybody in the community through Lions, you know, I mean, and everything that we're involved with. You know, just this last weekend, we were at the Yaqui Lopez, Fight for a Cause night, who is a good friend of the Lions, you know. Yeah, I could have put you on ringside seats on this show, but
and they use us to serve their food, and it's an awesome event for the youth that in South Stockton.
It really is.
Yaqui definitely gives back to the community.
Yes,
Absolutely. Well, and there's another great individual. If people that don't know, they know of him but don't know him. He's just a wonderful man, very humble.
Yes.
Fought some big names while he was boxing. But Roy, can you tell us the story about when after you joined the club? I don't know how many years. You might have been here a year or 2 years with this club, and you came back to work one day and you go, "I got to talk to you. This is big stuff. I got to talk to you." Go ahead. Can you take over this? They ask you to.
Oh, join the. No.
Become president.
Oh my God! Hey, this is amazing. Now this is amazing story. Hey, listen, you know, you get involved with the club, you got a line, and I had the tail twister job, and I hated that job.
Oh, why?
Nobody likes the tail twister.
That's what I liked.
For those of you that don't know what the tail twister does, he's kind of the funny guy, and he gets to go around and find people for just little things.
For going on vacation or buying a new car.
Maybe
and guess
for
what?
being
They got
in the
the in for the
newspaper.
new car thing.
We'll find some kind of a reason to find people. So
name in the
typically the
paper?
tail twister is not very well liked, but it's a fun thing, and we have a good time doing. And so anyway, I've been with the club for a couple of years, and all of a sudden they kind of took me aside and they go, hey Roy, we think that you could be president next year. And I'm going, what? I go, are you kidding me? I mean, the shoes that you would have to fill. I mean, I know what the presidents do.
Yeah, that was the year after I was president.
Wow.
Really big shoes.
Well, heels at least.
Really big shoes.
They hurt.
But anyway, what an awesome opportunity, you know. And I got the support from the club members, and they all said, "Hey, listen, Roy, we realize that you're not going to know everything because I normally don't." But they saw something. They saw something in me that they felt would be good for the club at that time. And I'm just going to tell you, I didn't know that I would ever get into this position to lead. A lot of times people don't get a chance to lead, It doesn't just come around all the time.
It's like herding cats.
Exactly. Well, just like she's second vice district governor right now. She's got a huge responsibility, but she's taken a chance, to lead others. But anyway, it really changed my life. And honestly, it changed my life because I was responsible for moving a club forward in whatever way or fashion I might be able to move them forward. And I'll tell you what, it was a full-time job for me because I knew that this is the one time that I could serve as president. And you know what? As you look at our flags, of past presidents, there's 100 presidents on there now. And each one of those guys gave that full year everything that they had to move this club forward because of what it means to them to serve, selfishly. And so that was huge. That was huge for me. And I encourage people that are looking to try to get into a leadership role to consider the Lions, because the Lions have, really it's pretty quick access. If you really want to get involved with leadership, you want to get on the board and you want to see how all those kinds of things work.
Come run a golf tournament.
Yeah, golf tournaments. We have
Asparagus Festival.
Asparagus Festival. We have plenty of jobs jobs, for people to participate in and find their niche. Because a lot of times, and the Lions clubs are changing now because a lot of times on time commit, we meet every week. Right. There are a lot of clubs that don't meet every week.
Well, we even have cyber clubs now.
Cyber clubs is coming on board now, and they don't even meet, but they still serve.
Yep, they have a meeting for like 10 minutes before their service project, which could be anything. So they schedule it all online, email each other, and then 50 of them show up. Yep.
Yeah, because of people's time commitments.
I got to say this about Roy. Roy came to me when they first approached him. He came back to the dealership and he goes, I really got to talk to you, man. This is really good. This is something. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought maybe he was getting a divorce.
It was important stuff.
His wife was helping. But anyhow, so Roy, I sit down in Roy's office and he goes, they want me to become president of the Stockton Hills Lions Club. He says, I don't think I can do it. I looked at him. I said, Roy, if anybody can do it, you can do it.
Yeah,
and he did a very good job.
And that's what I was going to say. As much malarkey as I give you, you were an excellent president. You did over and above the call.
Although he didn't really ever get that basket full of blue and yellow flowers had the bell in it, even though I said it was a bell ringer like 10 times. You need to buy it. It's a bell ringer.
I never kept an eye on my bell.
Yeah, right.
I think got stolen 50 times.
Being green like I was, you know what I mean? I never realized that they were going to steal my bell and steal my gavel.
How many times?
Oh, several times.
Yeah.
But one time it came back, and if you go on our
2-3
Facebook
dozen.
page, if you go on our Facebook page, you can watch the video.
The bell traveled the world that year.
They traveled the world. They had pictures all over the place. And anyway, it was a great time. They packed it in ice. It was a big, huge ice cube. I had to take it home, let it thaw, bring it back. But you know what? It's all fun and games. So the Lions do a great job in the community.
We're getting to wrap up signs, so we're probably about a minute out.
Okay.
I'd like to say one thing about Chase Chevrolet while we're here doing it.
Yeah.
Chevrolet car guys.
Yeah.
They had a very successful weekend. They had trunk
or treat.
Very
Very successful.
There. I've heard numbers. I was not there. But I heard numbers of over 1,000 people came out in a 50-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, It was so windy.
And we had how many sponsors or volunteers?
We had 20 trunks. We had 20 vehicles dressed.
Came out.
Unbelievable.
It was huge, and the kids came out. We had a huge slide. I mean, there was all kinds of activities for the kids. I mean, it was really awesome. I didn't realize how many activities until they actually put it all together. And of course, Port City Marketing, which was here last show, helped us with that. And you know what? It turned out to be a huge success. Even though it was like 70-mile-an-hour winds, it did not dampen the spirits of anybody that came out that day. So thank you for coming out.
Now, anything you have left to say, Ms. Gab?
Nope, I'm good.
You're good?
Just,
you know,
Lions are, we serve, and that's the most important thing.
Very well.
Monkey's been fine, yes.
Monkey's
a dog.
She brought her dog with her, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gabby, I want to thank you for being here, Gabby, because Blair didn't show. But we have really an excellent club. It's a great club. So I encourage you to come out on any Tuesday. Come out to Bud Seafood at noon. Join us. Your first lunch is free. And you know what? We have a featured guest speaker every week. Someone in the community that's doing great things. So come by, stop by, and visit us at our Lions luncheon.
Okay, we're going to sign off here in just about 30 seconds. So. Our next show for the Chase Car Guys will be November 13th. Tune back in and we'll have another surprising and entertaining show for you. I'll be here next week on the 7th doing the St. Mary's Hockey. They're heading to Southern California this weekend to play 2 games. Their first success down there, they went 2-1. They lost to the national champs, the only game they lost. So they're back in the thick of things. I've been to practice since I've been back from hiatus, and it's been a good thing. So until we meet again, and I want to thank Betty Ramirez, who came in within about 8 minutes
awesome
because
person.
My partner, Roy Morales, did not
really
call her and tell her we had a show tonight.
I know. Don't rely on text, okay?
Don't rely on
You
Roy.
have to talk to people.
Don't rely on Roy. But anyhow, we want to thank you very much for showing up tonight, helping us out
You're
with
very
another
welcome.
program.
I'm always
She's
here
a
for
wonderful person. If you need somebody to come out and be part of your event, Betty's just call
Always
down here
available. Yes, Betty.
Give
Bless
them
your
how
heart.
to get a hold of you.
So, yes, definitely get a hold of me on the Voices of San Joaquin. The number here to the studio is 209-467-4455. You can always find me right here off the Miracle Mile.
Yeah, it's great. And we want to thank you again for coming in on short notice. We want to thank
problem.
everybody that tuned in. We want to thank Gabby, again, for being here. And until we see you on the 13th, have a good evening and be safe out there.
Adios.
All righty.
Lions, we serve.
Good night.